My heart expressed its resentment at my leaving the cushion, placed beside the hearth. I got up to bring a cup of coffee for myself. My comfortable self tried to dissuade me from leaving the chair, but my desire for coffee overpowered that. Falling snowflakes over the valley reminded me of the forthcoming season. A heated room did not let me know the severity of the cold, but my instincts were probably well aware of it. After bringing my desired object, I was making myself comfortable. Meanwhile, I recalled something more unpleasant. I had been invited to a small party, organized by Mr. Abhi, one of my colleagues. I could use the greatest invention of mankind excuses, but my thought of declining such a cordial invitation failed to convince my socially familiar self. I had thought that I would wear one sweater, but having experienced the intensity of the cold outside, I ran inside and wore 3 sweaters one after another. I must acknowledge the immense assistance provided by my four-wheeler. I started driving towards my destination, but the foggy atmosphere, slippery roads, and some unusual potholes compelled me to keep my speed quite low. I was driving very slowly, but to keep myself settled and comfortable, I wanted to reach there at an accelerated velocity. While driving unknowingly, I was deeply involved in dreaming about something surreal, but my consciousness suddenly experienced a shock. A little distance from my home, there the road takes a sudden U-turn. Actually, I was used to driving that way, but the diverse weather converted my experienced driving hands into a novice. Though the weather disrupted the clear view, things nearby were visible to me. You might consider this as my exaggeration, but I'm sure if you had seen the scenario of her presence, you would have expressed the same. While taking the turn, on my left I found a short, slender, girlish-looking fairy standing. Her red sari endowed her a unique charm. Her face was not clearly visible to me at first. I halted my driving. My curiosity to see her easily dismantled the perplexity prevailing upon me. I studied books about witches, ghosts, spirits, and I also knew the tactics they used to lure targets. My initial thoughts were quite repulsive. I was hesitant at first, thinking it was a weird object. But my mind, provoked by my eyes, declared assertively its adamancy. Actually, being a man of the modern generation, I thought submitting to this unusual visual would be a humiliation for me. Though reluctantly, I opened the door and slowly advanced towards the murky figure. If I say otherwise, it will be a lie. Honestly speaking, I was ready for an immediate response or reaction. I felt tremendous trepidation when I reached closer to this. Possibly that figure also apprehended my throbbing motion. A sweet and melodious voice struck my ears. A girlish voice said, "Are you going to the house of Mr. Abhi?" Hearing the name of Mr. Abhi from her, I was startled. Yes, I stammered. She laughed. Possibly she laughed at my stammering, but truly, I was shocked. Now one principal desire was dominant in me. While she laughed, I wished I could see her face. This foggy weather was quite usual, but for that day it appeared to be a curse to me. Another question was directed towards me. Would you allow me to go with you to the party? Something tried to hinder my response, but disregarding its advice, I agreed immediately. While we were returning back to my car, she was talking ceaselessly. She said, "I booked one Tonga to go there, but due to this severe weather, that man refused to go further. I was standing here for more than 30 minutes. This elevated my suspicions about her being something weird. I observed that she had worn only one woolen sweater and one round hat on her head. Even after wearing 3 sweaters, I was shivering, but her simple garments were enough to tackle the severity of the weather. I opened the door for her. She got in and said, "Thanks." It was a very common phenomenon, but her intonation brought a smile to my face. It appeared as if I was waiting to hear that word from her. But I was happy with her gesture. She chose the back seat. Our sudden and unexpected meeting a few minutes ago unknowingly aggravated my expectation from her. I had to hide my pale face from her sights. I took my seat and was about to start the car. Suddenly, my rear view mirror reflected a moderate light directly into my eyes. She had turned on her phone. I didn't know that she had a phone, but to my astonishment, I forgot to be suspicious. Instead of that, I dived deep to explore the unfathomable depth of her blue eyes. Her phone's screen light helped me wholeheartedly to scrutinize even a pimple on her face. She had a round, smooth face with sparkling, as well as piercing, wide-set eyes. Her straight and pointed nose increased her beauty manifold. I could not stop looking at her thin, rosy lips. She had a quite serious look on her face. Seemingly, she noticed my non-blinking eyes fixed at the mirror and motionless car. She said, "Is there any problem?" No, I was thinking something," I said in a stifled voice. Her closed-lipped, flirtatious smile did not hide her motive from my glance. Unknowingly, I became quite desperate to justify my conduct. When I looked directly at her for this, her polite glance indicated to me that she didn't need any clarification. I started driving towards our destination. I noticed my eyes were quite disobedient at the moment. She frequently looked at me from the back seat, but if something appeared completely unusual to me, it was her closed-lip, embarrassed smile. I could not resist myself from asking her about her smile. I said, "It appears that you are very delighted with something. Can you share this with me?" She replied promptly, "Mister, while you drive, you must look forward. But what I see now is that you are very cautious about the cars coming behind yours. But you should know there is no car behind you." I felt embarrassed. I thought she didn't notice my moves. That day, I acknowledged a social proverb: girls have more than two eyes. After that, I didn't say a single word to her, but her smile was incessant. It took me approximately 25 minutes to reach there. On reaching, she opened the door instantly and went inside the house. I observed everything, but without any response. Actually, I thought that she would express her gratitude. I knew, being a man, it was my irrational expectation. After parking the car, when I entered the room, I found her talking with some of my female colleagues. Honestly speaking, I never noticed my female colleagues where I worked. Only one or two faces were quite familiar to me. The rest of the faces were completely stranger to me. I became uncomfortable when I realized that I was the topic of their gossiping. From my perspective, I was emotionally tortured by them. Because they frequently looked at me and burst out laughing, I grew impatient. I wanted to leave the place. To avoid being humiliated by their laughing any further, I planned to leave the place hurriedly. Actually, I was not frustrated at their laughing, but I saw she was completely callous about me. She didn't even look at me once. This frustration compelled me to declare her as an ungrateful lady. I even thought of her as an inconceivable opportunist. Her behavior triggered the insanity I did possess in myself. I realized my replies progressively assumed quite rude and arrogant tunes. I wanted to have my dinner over there, but my frustrations and rage forced me to leave the dining table. I rushed out of the house and was about to open the door of my car. At the same moment, a well-known voice forced me to look back. She was standing, still with that smile. But this time I discovered this smile was pure and beautiful that I failed to understand earlier. I dreamt that it was the smile that carried the seed of life.